This is Israel Take 3, and I'm David Began. This season has generously been sponsored by the Sclair Family Foundation. Stick with us. I am doing one of my favorite things in the world to do, which is drive in a gorgeous mountain, listening to the Grateful Dead. I'm on my way up to Mizgav, driving right now on road 9977 in the northern Galilee mountains, overlooking the Hula Valley and across to the east, the Golan Heights. If you didn't know better, you would think that you were driving somewhere in Northern California. Beautiful trees and mountains down below the plush Hula Valley and small, beautiful villages dotting the landscape. But I'm not driving in Northern California. I'm driving in war-torn Northern Galilee on my way to the village of Mizgav to meet my friend there, Ben, who's going to take us on a tour, tell us what happened during the last 15 months in this village. And it's a sad story, but it's the story of what's been happening here in Israel. So we're about to hear it. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy this drive and listen to some more Grateful Dead. Last episode, we spoke to a number of people who left northern Israel when Hezbollah opened up a second front the day after October 7th. And it wasn't that they wanted to go, but the rockets were falling fast and the danger was intense. And the government said evacuate, so they did. But here's the thing. For every town that emptied out, somebody had to stay behind. If not, then who stops the place from falling into enemy hands? These were the people that I was looking for that morning as I was driving, listening to Jerry Garcia up into the north, and then a little further north, and then just a little more north until there was no more Israel left to drive through, just the border with Lebanon, which is exactly where Mizgav is. It's a tiny kibbutz, and it clings to the edge of the country, and I mean really on the edge. There's a lookout spot where you can literally point at a Lebanese army post, but you know what? Maybe don't. So Mizgav was founded back in 1945 by Palmach fighters, idealistic people who for some reason thought, yeah, this feels like the right place to start a new life, a football field away from Lebanon. It's classic Zionist energy. You create facts on the ground. That's the way it's done in these parts. And they called it Mizgav, which means the fortress of the nation. And the name stuck because it is. Before the war, about 300 people lived here. Kids, couples, retirees, young farmers, the usual kibbutz mix. It's a beautiful place. You can see the whole Hula Valley from up here, the Golan Heights, Mount Hermon, Syria, and of course Lebanon, lots of Lebanon. And this place has been through more than its share of nightmares. Ask anyone here and they'll tell you about April 7th, 1980. That was the night that 5 terrorists from the Arab Liberation Front broke into the children's quarter and took babies and toddlers as hostage. The whole country held its breath. It ended the next morning in a heroic IDF rescue that left 2 Israelis dead, including a 2-year-old, and over a dozen injured. That memory never left the kibbutz. So when war came again, October 8th, 2023, Mizgav evacuated quite quickly, like the entire northern community. Schools shut down, buses rolled out, and the roads emptied. But not everyone left. A few people stayed. Members of the Kitat Konenut, which is the kibbutz's emergency response team, they stayed with the army to make sure that this place wouldn't fall into enemy hands. And that's who I came up here to meet. Okay, we are here in Mizgav, and I am here with Ben Guido.
So first of all, I was born here. I'm about 40 now. I have a wife and 2 kids, and we are living here. Actually, at the moment, we don't live here. My family had evacuated on October 8th, which means just a day after the war started, because the situation here got quite spicy very fast, and we realized that we are maybe a target of something like what happened in around Gaza Strip, and that we don't necessarily have the means to really hold an assault and to fight against it with the means that we have. So this is why the civil population evacuated. Some of them on the 7th, most of them by the 8th were gone. The government haven't evacuated the settlement yet. That happened like 2 weeks later or 10 days later. But looking around and just connecting the dots, many people realized it is not safe to be here. Specifically, myself, I'm in Kitat Konenut.
It's a strange feeling showing up in a place like this, where the streets are silent, the homes are empty, and there's this eerie quiet where a whole community used to buzz with life. But Ben, he's still here, along with a few others, some soldiers, a lot of dogs, kind of the skeleton of a village that isn't gone but is just on pause. Ben didn't stay because he was trying to prove anything. He just didn't feel like leaving was an option. So this episode, it's not about those who left. It's about what happens when you decide not to leave. Back to Ben.
So in the morning of the 8th, 6 in the morning, I got like this special ring at the phone for the emergency group. I took up my gear and my gun, and I started patrolling the kibbutz. We started hearing voices coming from north. Half an hour of assessing the situation, I told my wife to take the kids and just to leave. And we stayed here quite tensed, actually. About 20 guys from the Kitat Konenut. And very soon after, few days after, IDF soldiers came to reinforce us. And even then, the situation was quite tense. And we had to think about getting into a fight at any given time. And every night I went to sleep and I would say to myself, okay, let's hope I will just sleep until the morning without having to go outside to fight. So that was the feeling. And actually, this feeling was the dominant feeling for quite a good time, because we were living here our peaceful lives, but on the other side of this fence, it seems like the Hezbollah was doing a lot of preparation and was very prepared.
So I'm walking through Miskavam with Ben, and you start to notice these little signs of life coming back. Not full-on return to normal life by any stretch of the imagination, but people who are sort of like dipping their toes in the water. There's an older couple that pulls up in front of their house, and I'm watching them, and they don't get out right away. They kind of just sit there for a minute. It's like they're not sure if they're home or if they're visiting someplace that used to be their home. Ben tells me that people have slowly been starting to come back, but not to stay, but for a few hours here and there, kind of to check on things, see what's broken, what's still standing, maybe sweep up a little bit, but no unpacking suitcases. You see a few workers on the street, fixing a busted pipe, clearing weeds that grew over the sidewalks when everyone was gone. Different things that kind of indicate that maybe something is coming back. Then Ben tells me this story. There was this woman, he points to her house, and she really didn't want to leave at all. She felt like this was being overblown, that it's going to pass. Finally, she had no choice. She left. 4 days later, a Hezbollah rocket hit her house directly. Gone. Now, people come back and they find all kinds of things. Their houses with cracked windows, shrapnel in the walls. Some of them find actual rockets, like the rocket just sitting in their yard. And still, somehow the idea of moving back, it's not off the table. Okay, we're standing here. There's a sign here that says Amod Khan, which means stand here. I'm standing, I'm looking towards the Mount Hermon. And what are we looking at?
So you can see there is one migonit, which is a small bomb shelter. And it was here before the war. And to make it pleasant, we even drew the view line on the wall. And you can look at it, and it is quite nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some pics of it from the first days of the war with the sunrise. And that migonit was not here yet. And let me show you why they brought this one, okay?
Yeah. Okay, walking into the shelter over here.
Yeah, so taking you back to December 4, we're about 2 months almost into the war. It was my time to guard the gate.
Wait, so you came back here?
I was staying here.
Oh, you didn't leave. Okay.
I was from the Kitat Konenut. So it was my shift. I was sitting with my vest and my weapon. And then there was an alert that missiles are coming. You should take shelter. So this was supposed to be my shelter. But we've talked about it, that this place is not safe because actually it is being seen from Lebanon. So they might just shoot into it. So we decided among ourselves that instead of going into this shelter, we will just sit low on the other side of the road. And that was something that actually saved my life, because at some point I started hearing a whistle. I jumped into the ditch, and 7 seconds after, anti-tank missile had penetrated.
Oh, wow. I see there's a hole that right through the thick concrete, the reinforced concrete. There's a hole right through there.
I was lucky to hear the missile coming and to dive into the ditch, and so I didn't hit.
So we think these shelters are always protecting us. But what you're showing me really is that they might protect against gunfire, but they're not going to protect against anti-tank missiles.
Yeah, well, those missiles designed like heavy duty. So,
wow.
So you can step here and go, huh? If you're connecting and actually, you can see a UN post down there near that big tree. You see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I see it.
So that's a UN post. So not to use harsh words, the evidence show that not far off this UN base, there was, at least on December 4, 2023 actually, there was a group of Hezbollah with a Kornet missile that shot and almost killed me. That's evidence. And I wouldn't say they supported or they put a blind eye, but they didn't provide, they
didn't provide the protection that their charter requires them to provide.
No.
So we're looking right now east towards the Hermon.
Yeah.
And then north those hills over there are, is that the Hari Lebanon, the mountains of Lebanon?
Yeah, if you look north, the only thing which is Israel that you see is Metula. All the other things, you can see the wall that is going around Metula, and on the left side of that wall is Adaise and Kfar Kile village, and north of that is Marjayun and El Khiam. And if you look far off, you can see the Lebanese mountain with that snow on the top. Mm-hmm. So that's a very tall ridge going south to north, so we almost don't see it. And there's another one over there. the Lebanon, and the it's called against Lebanon ridge. And let's go up.
Okay.
Now let me show you another thing that might cheer you up with
Okay,
this decision.
good. Let's go.
But let's go with the cars.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we drove up the hill a little bit, and where are we now?
Let's go on. So we came to the highest point. Over here we have a viewpoint, a lookout. It's a tourist center.
I couldn't believe this was the same visitor center that used to be a stop every time we'd take people up to the north. It's perched right on this ridge, overlooking the Lebanese village of Al-Udaisa. And it always got a great reaction. I'd point across the valley and I'd say, hey, see those houses over there? That's Lebanon. Just a fun, slightly edgy kind of moment. But now the visitor center is gone. Just a big heap of concrete because it took a direct rocket hit. And across the valley, Al-Udaisa, it's also a massive pile of wreckage. It turns out that it wasn't exactly this sleepy Lebanese farming village that everyone here thought it was. When the IDF forces moved in last October, they found something else entirely. Stockpiles of rockets, launchers, ammunition, stashed in what looked like regular family homes. Almost every other house had something. Turns out that the Radwan forces were planning to use this Al-Udaisa village as a launch point for a major attack. And let's just say it's not going to happen now, because for all intents and purposes, Al-Udaisa no longer exists. And standing here looking out over the valley, I couldn't help but think of Beit Iksa, which is the small, sleepy Palestinian village right across from my home in northern Jerusalem. I've always thought of it as this quiet little town. But now I wonder, is there a tunnel under my house? Are there rockets sitting in someone's living room pointed at our hill in remote, waiting for some signal that I'll never see coming?
This place was built as a viewpoint, which means you can stand here and look into Lebanon. And by default, it is also being seen from Lebanon. So this was the first place that was hit in the kibbutz, again with an anti-tank missile. And
Wait, when you say anti-tank missile, how far do those things go, and where are they shooting it from? They're shooting from a launcher?
So there are a few types, but it can go up to 10 kilometers, like 3 miles or 4, maybe 6 miles. But this view is probably from this village right in front of us, Udaisa village. I mean, we are in Misgav Am. If you Google it, you can see we are just at the tip of the Galilee Panhandle. And so all around us from north and from west and even northeast is Lebanese villages. So this place is, this is 1 kilometer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like standing in a building in New York City and looking about a block or 2 blocks away. It's right across the valley. I can see into the houses over there.
So this is why it was quite easy, and actually almost each of the houses in those villages eventually, when the IDF decided to go into war within Lebanon, our soldiers went through those houses, and the stories they say is that almost every house had some kind of military equipment, readiness, or any military activity waiting for Hezbollah. So this village was practically a terror village. 90% of it, let's say.
And you've been living right across from this village all this time. Was there a suspicion that this was a terror village waiting to be ignited?
You know, I'm a peaceful person, so I chose to believe that they don't want war, because if they will have war, then this is what will happen to them. Look at their village now.
Yeah, the village is, I don't know what you'd say, just completely flattened. I mean, every single building has been destroyed. Was it destroyed by Israeli Air Force?
Some was destroyed with
Artillery?
not artillery, no, חומר נפץ.
Oh,
Explosives.
Yeah, explosives.
Some was destroyed with explosives. Some was destroyed with the explosives they found in-house. And actually, I don't remember the date, but somewhat after the IDF started to clearing out those villages, at some point in Israel, the whole north, all the way up to Haifa, got an alert for an earthquake, which was a false alarm. The earthquake was from a human source, because the IDF had blew up a 2 kilometers tunnel that ran right here near Misgav, and they blew it up with so much explosives that the sensor had sensed an earthquake.
Wow. That's amazing.
Let's go in.
Yeah, so just looking over here, I mean, you just see, I don't know how big this village was. Maybe there were 1,000 people maybe living in this village, but it's completely, utterly destroyed. Just flattened. We're walking around here inside of, this was once this beautiful, oh wow, beautiful visitor center. Now it is just a shelled out building.
This sounds better, we can go.
Yeah, so today we're not in the studio. I've got my mic, some batteries, and that's pretty much it. No soundproofing, no reverb filters, just wind, gravel, and whatever Hezbollah decides to throw over the border today, which I really hope is going to be nothing. And we're walking through Misgav, the fortress of the nation. As I told you, this evacuated mountaintop kibbutz. It's really, really quiet, too quiet. And we're walking it with Ben Guido. He's not in uniform. He's not some special forces Rambo. He's just a guy who grew up here and who decided to raise his own family here. A guy with a wife and kids who could have left and probably should have left, but he didn't. For 13 months, 13, this place was under near constant shelling. Rockets, drones, suspected infiltrations, you name it. I mean, Hezbollah's right there, just across the fence. And Ben, he stayed. He had to, he says, so the kibbutz wouldn't disappear. So today's episode isn't polished, it's not mixed, but it's about something else. It's raw. It's a walk through a place that's still standing because someone refused to let it fall. Come, let's take a walk together. Can you see Syria from here? Are those mountains over there Syria, or is it?
Syria is a little bit south. You know what, let's go over there.
Okay. So we're walking just a little bit around. We're on the very top right now of this mountain, which is the sort of the high point of where the kibbutz is, and we were facing north towards Lebanon. Now we're just walking a little bit and turning towards the east, and we can see the Golan Heights here, and I think we're about to see, so this is a view of Syria here, I think. You can actually see the mountains.
So first of all, the reason that we can see through is because all the forest, you can see, the forest was burnt.
Oh, this whole forest area was burned here from the missiles, yeah?
Yeah, from the missiles. The guy which is driving right near us is the one who put down the fire, standing here with the hose. So if we're looking east, we can see the Golan Heights. And actually the only part that we can see which is Syria is the Syrian Hermon, which is the highest part of the Hermon. At the moment also occupied by the IDF, who seized it as soon as the Assad regime had collapsed.
Yeah, I think that's a well-known thing and not a military secret that we're revealing here, that the IDF, when the Assad regime collapsed, the IDF decided to take the second half, the northern half of the Hermon Mountain. The Hermon Mountain is actually the border between Israel and Syria, somewhere in the middle of that mountain. I don't know exactly where.
Yeah.
And they took the Syrian half also to make sure that because of the unrest in Syria, that the potential troops or rebels wouldn't make their way down further south towards Israel.
And if looking south of the Hermon, we can see the Golan Heights, but everything we see is the Israeli Golan. And that's actually the significance of the Golan Heights. That's a separation between Syria and the rest of Israel. They cannot see deep into Israel. So before the 6-day war, Syrian soldiers used to sit in these Golan Heights and used to bomb all those Israeli villages, kibbutzes that we see here in the valley. And one of the results, maybe the primary result of the 6-day war, is that Israel had taken the Golan Heights and kept it for the security of the north. Mm-hmm. And maybe one last thing, you see just the corner here, with
There's like a concrete wall that heads east, and then it makes a sharp turn towards the north.
Yep, exactly. So right near that corner, there's a ruined building, and next to it, there's another one. That other one, I spotted the enemy activity inside. We had like surveillance, and I spotted they've put something in the window, and somewhat later, this building was bombed.
So you alerted the authorities and...
Yeah, I mean, I informed the higher ups, and this was part of the war. This was part of wherever we saw enemy activity, we would have to communicate it upwards.
I don't see a single house in that village that looks like it's still standing. I guess that would become a bit of a buffer, maybe, where Israel will prevent that area from being resettled again, I assume.
I hope so, actually. This can be a very good solution for us. I'm not sure if we can maintain it, but I really hope so. Mm-hmm. The reason I'm standing here with you in the open is after 14 months that I would have not done it, but after the achievements of the IDFs here in the north, plus the ceasefire, plus the multiple damages, multiple hits that Hezbollah had suffered, I'm counting on that they don't wanna shoot at me at the moment. Mm-hmm. They don't want, they can't, they shouldn't. That's my feeling.
Okay, yeah, I hope so too. At least right now. So if we were standing here 4 months ago, 5 months ago, or a year ago, what would we be seeing?
Well, most of the houses here were still standing. Actually, 5 months ago, we will not be standing here. This would be a very foolish idea to stand out, to be seen from those terror villages. So, and I was serving in the Kitat Kohenut for 10 months, and I have never left the doorstep when I'm not fully armed, dressed, and ready for battle, because we couldn't tell when it's going to come, and you always want to be prepared. And there were some sections in the kibbutz where we didn't visit at all because they are exposed. And to expose yourself to the enemy, which have snipers and have missiles and have anti-tank missiles, and drones, and it's just foolish, and we didn't do it. Lucky for us, most of the houses, the residential houses, are not facing Lebanon. So they were spared.
Was it built that way on purpose?
It's by geographic default, because the highest point is the borderline. So you can slope down just to one side. So we are sloping down towards Israel, not sloping down towards Lebanon. So that's geography. But still, some houses got hit from missiles. My house was somewhat damaged, not destroyed. But it didn't happen all in one day. It was a long period of holding our grounds, and once, twice, 6 times a day to be under shelter, below ground, because of alerts from missiles, from drones, incoming, go to shelters.
How much time do you have here from when the sirens go off? I know in Jerusalem, the sirens go off. We have a minute and a half. So we wake up, we make a coffee, and we take it into the shelter, and we're, very spoiled over there. But here I'm guessing it's not a minute and a half.
So there's 2 kinds. There's one kind, if they shoot missiles at Kiryat Shmona, they fly above us. So the Kippat Barzel intercept. The Iron Dome, yeah. The Iron Dome intercept their missiles. So then we have between 15 seconds to 30 seconds.
Okay, and the other type?
The other type is when they are aiming at us. And then you first hear the boom, then you hear the siren.
Wow.
So you're in a minus. You have a minus time to prepare yourself. This is why we are not waiting for the sirens. This very long period, only military was here in the kibbutz, not civilians. So when the military had any kind of intel that something is coming or might come, hours ahead, we would be in shelters. Actually, you would almost never walk around just for the heck of it. You always walk around only with a purpose, because at any given moment, this kibbutz can be shelled. That was the reality.
And what's the hope? What are we hoping is going to happen? Do we think this ceasefire is going to hold? Do we think there's a possibility that we've seen the worst here, and that really, truly, it's going to be an opportunity moving forward, that something could be different?
Well, that's a complex question. The hope is that we will be able to come back here to live our life safe. What would be the combination of it? I'm not sure, but if you look at the hill in front of us, you see that flag over there? What is that flag waving at the top of this Lebanese hill? That's an Israeli flag. So, for the time being, it's safe because we are dominating the proximity of the border.
So it looks to me, it's a little bit hard to see, but it looks to me like that's a Lebanese army installation. So we've taken over that army base, and we have our soldiers there protecting. And it's on a very high hill. It kind of commands the whole valley and the mountains surrounding. So is that what's going on over there?
Well, I'm not sure. I can't say in details, because if there are, I don't want to get into specifics. Okay. But we see an Israeli flag over there, meaning that it is now at the least free of our enemies. So that's one thing that may keep us safe. The other thing may be regarded or related to the very interesting developments that happens in the Middle East at this time. Syria is going down. There's now a new president in Lebanon. We don't know. The hope is that Hezbollah will be unweaponized. Is that a word? That's the hope.
What would it take for you to bring your family back and for everybody else to come back here and resettle? What needs to happen before you're going to feel comfortable doing that?
Well, we got a lot of rehabilitation to do. It's not only landscape and overgrowth that we hear the people working around us do. There's infrastructures that were taken down. We need to refurbish our public structures because each and every one of them was hosting the IDF for a very long time. And some were hit, some were burned. So we need to, we have a lot of work to...
Who's that?
Those, Yossi and Berta, those are the parents of my best friend.
Are they just coming back to pick up some things probably? Or
Maybe cleaning, preparing the home. The homes also need preparation because there's a lot of, damages from water, from mice.
Okay, so that's in terms of getting the kibbutz ready to have people come back. But what about security? I mean, we're standing here and that's fine, but I have a feeling you're not ready to bring your family back yet either in terms of just the overall safety.
So the IDF is changing its policy about how to protect borders. Actually, they are going to build some kind of military base right near the kibbutz, so that soldiers will be in a walking distance from here to be able to protect us. And there's also the overall situation with Lebanon, and we hope that an agreement would be signed that can be either reinforced or respected. Reinforced by us or respected by the other side. We really hope for that. And yeah, we for my kids to come back, we need to have the schools to reopen and the kindergartens, and those needs to be rehabilitated. And actually, we started Amuta.
Yeah, like a non-profit organization.
Yeah, to raise funds for the rehabilitation.
Okay, we're going to post that in the show notes. You'll share with me the how people can donate to that.
Yeah, I will be happy. And we are trying to raise funds also to build back better this place, also the lookout point which we are standing right near, and we hope that that the IDF will provide us with the security and that we can provide our people with the livelihood and all the other aspects of normal life.
So I just wanted to say, and we can wrap up, I just wanted to say that I don't know if you understand how much we, and when I say we, I mean the Jewish people, not just the Jewish people in Jerusalem where things, as I said, are quiet, but Jewish people in Chicago and Jewish people all over the world, how much we appreciate the sacrifice that you've made. You're literally sitting here, the last frontier, very possibly the last inch of the land of Israel on the very, very border, as far north as you can get with Lebanon. And you stayed here, you fought, you protected, and by protecting this village, you're protecting the Jewish people in the entire world. Because if this village falls, God forbid, the next village could fall. And if the next village falls, Tel Aviv could fall and Israel could fall. And without it, Israel, the Jewish people are in big, big trouble. There's no home for us to go to. So I hope you understand and appreciate how much we appreciate you and the sacrifice that you've made. I know when we started to talk about your family, I saw from your response that it's very hard. Of course it's hard. It's been, a year, more than a year that you've been away from them and that you've been fighting and protecting us and sacrificing in ways that we haven't even scratched the surface of discussing. So I just want to say on behalf of the Jewish people, thank you, my friend. You're amazing, very special.
Uh, it's very nice to hear. Thank you very much. And come visit us here in Misgav Am. Come to our tourist center, which we will build up, rebuild quite soon, and you will be able to look around on this magnificent view.
Okay, I mean, you probably have a million things to do, more important things. Is there anything that I missed that you think is important that we should talk about, or is there anything else that you need to show me that you think is important to see?
We saw the view. We saw the destruction here. We are looking at the burnt forest. We are looking at the demolished Lebanese villages. I still hope to live in peace, even here. But peace or no peace, I have the courage to say that we will keep this mountain, and we will hold this mountain for better or worse.
So people sometimes tell me that these episodes are too heavy, that they're hard to listen to, that I sound a little morose. And yes, they are heavy, and they need to be. But this time I want to end with some good news for a change. So I went back up north last week. I took my family. I just wanted to kind of see for myself what's happening up there and what's been going on since we recorded these last 2 episodes in January. Kiryat Shmona, remember that place that felt like someone had hit pause? Well, somebody hit unpause. The streets were busy. Shops were open. Kids were playing outside again. Those homes that were boarded up last time, they now had laundry hanging out to dry. It felt almost normal. And in a place like that, almost normal is pretty much a miracle. And yeah, Baguette Shlomi, you remember Shlomi, the guy with the underrated shawarma shop who decided to stay open to feed the soldiers and the handful of residents who didn't or couldn't evacuate. What I didn't know then was there was another shawarma shop in town, but that one closed down early and evacuated right away. And again, no judgment. Most people did. I'm sure I would have too. But while I was up there last week, I found out something chilling. That other place, the one that closed, it took a direct rocket hit. Shlomi's place, we drove by, still standing, and this time there was a line outside the door. But I also wanted to know what was happening back up on that ridge. So I called Ben this morning.
I'm happy to say that things are better than I thought they would be. Better than when we met, for sure. Most of the kibbutz residents had returned. Some are still to return, and some will not return. Specifically, my family had returned. Actually, 6 days ago, we've returned the key on our other apartment, the evacuee apartment, in which we stayed for about a year and a half. And it was not an easy decision. Not everyone in my family really wanted to go back, but we decided it's the wisest thing, and it's our way to close the circle and to end the internal displacement of ourselves. And this is part of, we are not in Europe in the 1890s where the goyim can just kick us out and we have to live with that. No, we live in our own country and we are entitled to keep our home. And this is the psychological need that I had to come back and to close this cycle, this circle. I am surprised for the better, which is a testimony for resilience, because when I looked at my kibbutz back then, the immense effort that was in front of my eyes, that was needed to rebuild and bring this settlement back, this kibbutz back to where it was, or to be a place that people looks like a place where people live in and not like a military post. That looked enormous, and I didn't know even where to start. And now it looks much better.
So Ben told me things are slowly coming back. A lot of the homes have been renovated, and the public spaces as well. It's starting to feel almost like home again. They're still waiting on government help for the avocado groves in the vineyards that were scorched in the fires and the chicken coops that were blown apart by Hezbollah rockets. But still, the place isn't empty anymore. Misgav Am made it through, and it looks like it's on its way back. If you want to help and be a part of rebuilding Misgav Am, we've posted a link in the show notes where you can make a donation, and yes, every little bit helps. And remember Rabbi Yishai Lowinger from the last episode, the rabbi in the yeshiva in Kiryat Shmona who evacuated his family along with the entire yeshiva right when the war began? So I reached out to him too. And he said pretty much what Ben said. Things are way better than they were when we first met. Life's not all the way back, but it's definitely getting there, and you can feel it.
It's interesting to listen to the podcast now, like half a year later, and Baruch Hashem, the North is really, so many families are coming back, and the North is really blossoming. So it's very, in a way, you feel like saying to the podcast, wait, things are going to get much better.
And then, on the drive home, something else happened that really felt a little magical. I was coming down along the eastern side of the Kinneret, the Sea of Galilee. Late afternoon light bouncing off the water, making everything look sort of holy. And across the lake, Tiberias was just sitting there quietly, like it always does, tucked into the slope, glowing in that end-of-day stillness. And with the sun dropping fast, I pulled off the road. One of those overlook spots with a rusty guardrail and a faded sign. I stepped out to say Mincha, the afternoon prayer that we say just before sundown. Now, this is something you see all the time in Israel. A minute or two before sunset, a car pulled over, a guy standing by the roadside, eyes closed, lips moving, facing Jerusalem. It's just part of the landscape. But this time, I wasn't alone. A few feet away, a Muslim father and his two sons were already there. They had rolled out their prayer mats, and they were also reciting their afternoon prayers. They were facing south, towards Mecca. I was facing south too, towards Jerusalem. Same sun, same stretch of road, same direction. And for a few minutes, we all just stood there, quietly doing the same thing, without saying a word. And I don't know why, but it just felt good. And it made me wonder, in a country where almost everything feels divided, maybe there are still moments, small ones, where we're unknowingly aligned. And maybe those moments matter more than we think. Thanks for taking this journey with me. I'm David Began, and this is Israel Take 3.